All right, so this is session 2 of 2 of Gods of the Fall. This is a Cypher system game based on the Monty Cook system. It's one of several different settings that they have available for this now. This is my month of trying out Cypher system across 3 different settings. This is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. You can find more about the Gauntlet Hangouts at gauntlet-rpg.com. As this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, we do use safety tools. Everyone's familiar with that. We have the X card. So if you don't dig safety tools, you could just maybe turn off the video and go away, find some other people. But that's cool. But I'm going to be using them. We rarely hit them, but we're going to be doing that now. We started out last session. Our characters are from the pre-gens that they nicely had provided for Gods of the Fall. And I'm going to have them briefly introduce themselves in just a second, but they are divine beings in a world that has fallen apart. Essentially, 40-some years ago, the divine realm crashed into the world, and things went to shit after that. And it's kind of a horrible place. The gods are all dead. The area that they're in is covered with perpetual eclipse by the mad moon Nod. And the realm that they're in is actually ruled by an ancient dragon who's nasty and has people that hunt down these new divine folk. They have started to appear. A lot of people don't believe in them. Some do, but most don't. There is a group that searches them out. They're called the Adherents. But there's a larger group hunting them down that are called the Reconciliators. That is in the Nightland that they are in. And our group is hunting for a Raver, which is the animated dead skin of a god. It's a force of evil. They have obtained information about the sort of legendary journey that they have to go on, the steps, the tasks, much like the labors of Hercules, that they have to pass through to gain more in the divine nature. And so they're on the road for that, and I'll frame exactly where they are in a second. But let's go through who everyone is. First, we have Sheth. Give us a quick 1-minute pitch on Sheth.
All right. Well, Sheth is an inquisitive shaper. He bears a halo of fire, which he keeps under wraps, but tends to come out when he's under stress. And he is a god of fire, which he sort of sees as the concept of change. He is much higher on the sort of intellect side than he is on might and speed. He likes to learn new things, figure things out, less good at noticing danger, or acting quickly.
Mm. Yeah, we noticed that some of those traits came out last time.
True.
And his big attack is the hurling of the flames, right?
Yes, which can go terribly wrong if you miss. So.
Yes. And that's where so both Unmasked and Gods of the Fall use a thing called divine shifts, which essentially are permanent power shifts to the difficulty. In the case of Gods of the Fall, they handle it a little bit differently, but right now you have 3 of your divine shifts into that hurl flame, which is pretty badass when all is said and done. So let's move on to Varus. Stephen, can you tell us about Varus?
Yes, Varus is a perceptive savior who finds the flaw in all things, and he is part of a god of secrets, and he's dressed in a cloak, very, sticks to shadows, hides. He has a background where he believes that being secretive and knowing things about people are the only things that keep you around. Otherwise, you die a quick death in the harsh world that exists today. His powers are things like he can freeze people in their tracks while he concentrates on them or touches them. He can steal their name. He can Jedi mind trick them a little bit, like force them to remember, forget the last 5 minutes, that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Yes, and an ability you used to nice effect last time. Finally, we have Dalarus. Is that how we're pronouncing that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Dalaras is a tough champion who masters weaponry and is a god of war. His special power is to stab things a lot and make them explode.
And to take some serious damage. You are wearing a plate armor there.
Yeah.
That is pretty nasty as well. So where we are is you had headed out onto the road, and you are traveling to a place called Dujar. You received information last time that one of these ravers had tracks or signs or symbols of them had been found in the area by a traveling caravaneer, and he directed you there. And you traveled on the road after having escaped some slavers and stayed in an inn where you dispatched some bandits fairly handily, and got up the next morning. You were also able to cure an innkeeper's wife with your skills, so that was also a nice thing. And so you have headed out on the road, and it's perhaps 4 or 5 hours on the road. It is a mainline caravan path until you get close to Dujar, where it splits off a little bit and then heads out sort of into some mountainous areas where there's some valleys. Dujar is a little bit offset, and as you approach, you can kind of see the ruins of this place. This was a city of temples. It was a city of divine majesty in the past, but that has collapsed. Even as you approach, you can see that some of the buildings have just been let go to rubble. Things have overgrown onto them. Other ones have been destroyed, statuary, those kinds of things. Clearly, people have come and defaced or defiled some of these things or stolen the materials for other building things. There's a lot of the easily accessed stone has been taken and quarried away. What's one thing, Brian, that reminds you of the sort of the divine majesty that this city once had?
The attention to the architecture on a grand scale. There are patterns that are created in the way it's laid out, and as we approach, you can, or at least I can tell that the sun, as it's positioned, is sort of hitting different buildings at different places, and breaking rays off into different directions. Some of it's artistic, and some of it maybe was meant to do more.
Mm-hmm. It kind of catches probably some coloration. Maybe there you can see where it would have hit. There might have been a kind of a timekeeping, a sundial of some sorts, but that's gone here.
Yeah.
And again, remember that it is dark out, so you're picking this all up in shadows and not light. You're off from the road when you head into Dujar, so it'll be even darker once you head into there. Varus, what's one thing that you see that you didn't expect?
So when we enter this area, into the city, I didn't expect the dead trees. We hear this kind of creaking noise, and as we enter the city, we're used to seeing, the hulks of, plants that were from before that have died because of the lack of light. However, in this case, the city was full of, basically, they had an orchard there in one of the areas. And it was well tended. It looked very good. It's a very extensive orchard. So you see all these different trees that have died and succumbed to the darkness since then. However, it's a display of wealth that is unusual.
And gnarled. I mean, you can see that maybe these trees would have come from various different portions of the continent, would have been kept up, through the divine majesties. and powers, and some are even more dead than others. Finally, Deorus, you're a warrior by training, by instinct, by inclination. So you're always kind of looking for the possible dangers and attack points and things like that. What is one thing that actually makes you nervous and wary as you're moving through these empty streets?
I see a cliff, and that makes me nervous because they high point thing. Because anyone can ambush us by taking the high point.
Yeah,
maybe the river.
There are lots of buildings that people haven't been able to strip because they did reach higher up, and anybody could be at that point. So this is you moving through, and how do you want to approach this? Are you doing sort of a general survey to see if there's anybody here? Are you looking particularly for raver tracks? I think Sheth, you're kind of the seeker character in some ways. So tell me what you want to do, and others can assist in this or do other actions.
Well, I guess I have to have a torch lit.
Which will mark you out.
Right. I don't know. Unless, is there enough? Oh no, there actually isn't any. There isn't much moonlight at all, is there?
No.
So yeah. So the torch, I guess, has to be on.
Okay.
But there's no reason you guys have to stand, right next to me. So you can maybe use the light from the torch, but use the shadows to remain stealthy as we approach.
That seems fair. And kind of moving, looking for signs of that kind of thing. I think it is dark. It is a big area. So I'm going to say that the difficulty is actually going to be a 6. Just because you have a long way to cover here.
Okay.
Is this everyone or just Chef?
Well, this will start with Sheth, and then I'll come to you two and see. You're also welcome to say, well, I'm going to be aiding Sheth in this action to give him an asset.
Remind me again.
So right now we've got a difficulty of 6. Now your goal is to reduce that down. Learning new things definitely applies here.
Okay.
That's a special for you, so that will reduce it by 2 difficulties.
All right.
Do you have any assets that you think assist you in this?
I'd like to. Maybe this would be a good time to use my my Farsight Cypher.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's see here. Farsight 350.
If anybody on some distant high building wants to try to throw a rock at us, maybe I'll see them first.
Yeah. So you can turn that on, and that vision will persist. It says for 10 minutes, and it'll. That's definitely an asset that will assist you on that. So that'll reduce the difficulty down to 3. And I will also give you more information based on that effect, essentially in the fiction.
I'm sorry, I froze up there, but it sounds like it applies.
Yep. Give you 1 shift, so you're at difficulty 3.
3. Okay.
So.
Unfortunately, my noticing danger is an inability.
So that's a 4.
4.
Geography and history tasks, maybe?
Well, with the skill, you can only reduce it by 2 levels with skill.
Oh, okay.
So it already got down to that. This isn't a danger thing. You are doing the tracking, but you're trying to find out if there are tracks and things like that. I'm assuming the others are watching out for danger. You're trying to find the info. So
right.
I won't apply your inability yet.
Okay, so then I'm still at 3.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not terrible.
Yeah.
You could potentially spend points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I could spend some intellect points, right?
Yes.
Let's do that. It's 2 for 1, correct?
So yeah, the first one that you spend is 1 point, and then after that it's 2. Your edge on the intellect applies, so spend 1 point, and we'll reduce difficulty down by 2.
Oh, great. Then I'll spend. Sorry.
But we did it wrong last time, and it would be like you have to spend 1 for the first point, and then.
Oh, that's right. The edge doesn't apply to the second. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it would actually be 3 points.
3 points to kind of make it
to drop
automatic.
it down to 2 difficulties.
To make it 1.
Make it 1. Okay. Great. Let's do that.
Okay. And what are the odds that you'll roll a 1 or a 2?
Stop. All right. What am I rolling here?
Just a D20 on roll for your party. Do you need the room?
Yes, please.
Okay. Copy that. Put that up.
Wait, so you're spending 1 point or 3?
2.
That'd be 3. It's either 1 or 3.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm at 20. Okay. Okay.
For those of you at home, we're using Roll for Your Party, a die roller created for the Gauntlet Podcast and the Gauntlet Hangouts. I'll screen share it. Look at that. Brian's about to roll, so you can see him roll a 1 or a 2.
Whoa!
Nat 20 right out of the gate. Okay, well, that wasn't cool. Let me give you some information, and then you're going to spot something that will that I'll roll into Delris and Valoris's actions. Does that seem cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Varus's actions. You can see that there are tracks that sort of that burning marks that you associate with the Raver, that sort of disruption that it does to the ground. But those tracks are older. It clearly hasn't been here in some time. But you will see, like, there are at the sort of the far side of this, there are some marks like people have been using like one of the temples here. And when you kind of look in, it looks like there was some kind of shrine or temple that had been set up for some kind of ritual, and it has been kicked over and knocked aside. Somebody's clearly come through doing that. And as you're kind of looking and you're using your far sight, you kind of swing your vision around, and you will see kind of a ways away. They haven't spotted your torch, but it looks like there are a group of what looks like maybe some kind of militia or town guard or something. There's just a small group of them that are kind of walking a patrol. It seems kind of odd here because there's no town here.
Right. It could be an aggressive group looking for people like us.
So I'll hand that information off to Varus and Delris. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
I'm going to check in with them, and I'm going to come back to you, Sheth, and let you ask me a question.
Okay.
So you're informed that there are these militia/guards who are patrolling.
I want to approach them and try to size them up and figure out what they're here for.
Okay. Want to try and stealth up on them? Or you want to walk up to them?
I'll walk up to them, but not make myself not make it seem like I'm alone. Like I don't have Varys or Sheth with me. Okay.
That seems fair. So you want to present yourself as not a threat to them.
Yeah.
They're a little on edge, but they're not going to draw down. They will when they kind of see your motion. There is this pause as soon as they kind of see you walking there, and they will draw blades and they say, "Halt! Halt! Halt! Who is there?"
Oh, just a wanderer. I was not aware this town was populated. Well,
Step forward so that we might see your face.
I do.
Okay. You're not from a shart.
Sorry, what?
You're not from a shart.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, the city, the town. I don't recognize you. Where do you hail from?
I don't remember. That's what I'm looking for.
That's most unusual. Have you seen others around here? Perhaps a group of people wandering through the ruins?
No. Is there a problem?
And they kind of look at each other like they don't want to talk about. No. It's all right. We're just patrolling. If you're
patrolling, which town or which?
It kind of pause, and it clearly they're like, this is not something they want to be doing. Like, and they say, we were sent by the overseer from a shart to see if there were people using the temples for worship. They've had some problems.
What problems?
I'm not at liberty to go into that.
All right.
And it'll say if you're headed back on the main road, points that way. If you're headed to a shart, and he points to a roadway sort of behind him going into a little bit into the mountains, it is that way.
Very well. Thank you for your assistance.
What are you doing, Varus?
Yeah, so I think I'm watching this interchange. So, Sheth hasn't really told us about anything of significance other than these guards. So I think I'm watching the guard. Oh,
okay. No, that's fair.
Am I mistaken? Has he said something else?
Yeah, you can read that however you want to read that. I'm cool with it. Him having told you or not told you, either way.
What else was there? I'm sorry.
The temple.
The temple that
the shrine
had been disturbed. That's right.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to focus on the guards.
Okay.
They're the most active things at this time, and I think I'm going to watch them from a distance as they interact with Dolores.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm watching for their interaction. If they continue on their way after Dolores, I might see if I can't separate one of them from the others to talk to him.
Okay.
But I'll probably wait for Dolores to tell us about her interactions before.
Okay. They definitely then kind of do the patrol. It is the most, how do I put this? Lackadaisical, lazy patrol. Like they go to the edge of the temples and, they don't go actually in anywhere or walk around, any further. They kind of check for anything obvious. They're looking for people with torches, that kind of thing. It's very easy for you, once you know they're there, to evade their watch. Delris, do you return back to the group then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can pass that information on. Let me come back to Sheth here, and then I'll check in. Sheth, you rolled really well. Got that nat 20. What is a question that I can answer for you?
Are they the only patrol, or do they have reinforcements or other units nearby?
They seem like they're the only patrol. Just four guys from a shart who are out here patrolling around. You guess this must be like a once a day thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably they offended somebody to get this kind of duty.
Right.
So they'll march around. They do that for, if you watch for that, probably another hour. I will assume that the three of you can meet up to exchange information and easily evade their glances.
All right.
So during that time where they continue to march around, I'd like to see if I can't separate one of them. So as
Okay.
they walk around, maybe go around a corner, grab one, and pull him off to the side.
All right. So like a physical thing here to do that.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be more along the lines of maybe making him, this guy will be the back of the line, and as they turn the corner, maybe he hears a noise and turns to investigate or sees something out of the corner of his eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's dark. They are kind of nervous about this place. They are on patrol. But it is reasonable for them to hear something. So let's say difficulty 4 to peel one of these guys off.
And before we actually do that, I just realized I saw something on my character sheet. I'm going to, whenever we meet up to talk, I see that Chef is carrying around a bright torch. And I kind of, laugh derisively a little bit and say, you don't need that anymore. I have a power so I can adjust a creature's eyesight so they can see in dim light and darkness.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to spend that power.
Okay.
And it costs me 2 intellect points, and then for each level of effort I apply, I can apply it to an additional target.
Okay.
So I think I'll apply 2 levels of effort, costing me 3.
Okay.
Plus the original 2 intellect points, so a total of 5.
Okay.
So that we don't need that torch any longer, and it won't draw the attention from the rest of the guards.
Okay. So I'll give your night vision to you as an asset for this. So difficulty 3.
Okay. And I am skilled in deception.
Special.
But actually, what is special?
Special means it's difficulty 1 now because it lowers it by 2 shifts.
What's the difference between special and divine then?
Divine means it's actually coming from your divine shifts.
Okay.
It's a power thing. Special means highly trained.
I see. Okay. So it's a 1, and I think I'll just roll that.
Okay. Yeah. What are the odds?
Yeah. There's a 1 on every die.
That's true.
Uh-oh. I rolled a 20.
Okay.
It has that funky symbol on it, so I had to look for a second.
So you will peel this guy off, no problem. In fact, just after you peel him off, there's some discussion among the others about, they have to head back, and I was going to go pick this up. I was going to go see if I could find some, signs of the check my badger traps and things like that. And so rather than all going together, they split off in different directions, and they don't miss the 4th man.
Nice.
Okay.
So you've got this guy peeled off and sort of cornered. What happens then?
So I think that I think what's going to happen is he's going to become scared of me. He's going to be very frightened. And if I have to use it, I have a power that does something like that. But mainly I'm going to go through the same questions that Delaris asked and see if I get the same answers. What are you doing here? They said they were patrolling for believers. Why are they trying to patrol for them? What kind of disturbance have they caused? How many of them do they think they are? How many of them have they caught? Just things like that.
Let's say difficulty 4, and I'll give his position right now an asset for you, so it goes down to 3.
Okay. Let's see.
See through deception.
I can see through deception, so that depends on whether or not he lies to me.
Okay.
But I think I'll use intimidation to take it to 2.
Okay.
And do I have anything else that looks
Finding
good?
or noticing details, unless he is lying, in which case you just see it.
I'll think I'll spend. Yeah, so I think that's right. I think it's noticing details about like how he's acting, and maybe he has a telltale flaw or
Okay.
tell or something like that.
Yeah. Keep in mind with the skill, you apply one skill to a task.
I see. Okay.
Don't do multiple.
Oh,
So
no
then
multiple. Okay.
No.
Then I think I'm on 2.
Yeah.
Difficulty 2. And I guess I'll spend. No, I'm gonna just roll that.
Okay.
Let's see what that looks like.
All right.
That is a 16. Yay.
Okay.
Nice.
So he's scared. And he's like, no, we're here on patrol. They're just, we were sent out here. Radalin offended somebody, so we got Dujard, that's what they call it, out here. The overseers, there's been trouble, and he's reluctant to say, but he's there have been some people talking rebellion, and accusing him of not dealing with the bandits in the area. And yeah, some people have had to deal. We've got some bandit trouble, but someone spotted some people from the village here doing some kind of ceremony, and they sent some of us in, and we busted it up. But we think that they might come back, or they might have moved it. The overseer's really nervous about it, so that's what we're doing.
Do they know anything about, like, have they caught any of them?
They caught one, but it was just one of the villagers, and when they put him to the questioning, he laughed off the torture.
Whoa.
And it kind of says it like whatever happened with that must have been very disturbing.
What happened to him now?
What happened to the prisoner?
Yeah, did they kill him?
Yeah, he died.
I asked him if he's seen anything like this raver that we've been looking for. And my understanding, if I remember correctly, is that these things cause tremendous amounts of damage. So it's not like he wouldn't have noticed it, right?
He says, I'd heard rumors. I mean, we're a ways away from here, from Dujar, but there had been rumors some months back that something had been wandering around in the ruins. But beyond that, I don't know.
Okay. I think that's all I can think of. When will the next patrol come out?
Tomorrow we'll probably be back.
Will it be the same people?
Yeah, unless somebody else screws up worse than us.
Yeah. I think I try to be intimidating and scare him as much as possible.
Okay.
And whenever we're done talking, I'm going to erase his memories for the past 5 minutes. So he doesn't really remember talking to me. He doesn't remember strangers. He just remembers kind of getting lost on the path. But I bet he's still really terrified.
Yeah. Spend 3 intellect. Minus 2. So right. 1 intellect. So let's come back to Dalaris and Sheth. Let's assume you're armed with that information now.
All right.
This guy wanders off kind of in a daze, and then realizes he's by himself and starts jogging back to town.
I'd like to... Oh, go ahead.
I want to investigate the temple.
Okay.
Yeah, let's check that out.
All right. So you want to kind of figure out what's going on with this temple here?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you make a let's say difficulty 4.
Intellect?
Yeah, for intellect on this. to get beyond the basic details?
I have got nothing, so
Okay, let's have
I
you roll.
Roll 4.
Would
19.
would the okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's really well played there. You will see that that in one of these temples they had clearly set up a kind of a shrine, but not just a shrine, but an altar, which suggests to you that there was someone leading the ceremony. And that there were a group, maybe not large. You can see that there are some places that, like the altar has some blood splatter on it. Not enough to be like a sacrifice, but kind of the usual thing for bonding, like offering their blood to bind them to it. And there's a lot of stuff here. It's kind of creepy, like it's kind of made up stuff. Whatever this sort of imagery here for this shrine, and it actually looks to you like there might be some magic or some sorcery that's getting worked here. Does that seem like fair info?
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
Sheth?
I'd like to see if I can figure out what their focus was, or like what were they trying to do, or what this was obviously some kind of a cult or religious group. They were trying to do something kind of specific. Were they trying to protect themselves? Were they offering thanks, that kind of thing?
Sure. I think this is going to apply for magic practice.
Okay.
And let's say the difficulty is going to be a 4 to get beyond the basic info.
Okay. So with the magic practice, it comes down to 3, correct?
Yep.
All right. And so then if it's 3 right now, then
be 9
points.
9 or better.
9 or better. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got to multiply by 3. Yeah, I really would like to know. All right. So if I want to,
for 1 point, you can get a level of effort. For 3 points, you can get 2 levels of effort.
Yeah. So let's bring it down. Let's bring it down 3 points. That makes me 17.
Would the dark vision power make it easier for him to inspect things?
I will say yes. So that'll be an asset. So that'll bring it down to a 0.
Oh, fantastic.
That seems fair to me.
All right. Thank you, Varys.
Someone with magical knowledge has set up what looks like kind of a fake ritual that people would buy into, believe. But it looks like they're doing some magic, like they've got some power, or maybe a source of power. But what they're doing here with these people clearly is the kind of thing you do when you'd be tapping people for some of their soul stuff and some of their power. So he's clearly getting, he or she is clearly getting some people kind of buying into this cult, and they're using that as a way to siphon off energy for whatever they're doing.
That's not good. All right.
Does that seem like fair info?
Yeah, I mean, my guess would be that this is why the patrol was out here. Either people might be worried about their loved ones going to join this place, not coming back. Maybe folks have gone disappearing.
And the sense you got from Varys speaking with the guard is that the guards folk don't have any idea that it's anything beyond just being like like some kind of rebel cult or something. They probably don't realize there's even a sorcerer involved. So you've got quite a bit of information from the site. I haven't seen the Raver present, but it clearly was here some time ago. What do you three want to do?
So we could track the Raver. There are tracks, but they're old.
Mm-hmm.
We could see, if they lead to a lair or out of the ruins or what. Or we could, do a hard target search throughout the ruins, see if we can find any other groups of people.
Is it possible that the Raver could have turned into something else? I don't know how much we know about Ravers.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question here. Guys didn't do any research on them, but I think you guys can pool your efforts, essentially and your knowledge. Let's say difficulty 5, because it's kind of an obscure topic. But if you do well, I mean, you'll get basic information, and then the better you do, the more I'll give you.
Okay.
So I'll do this based off of trivia.
Sure.
Okay.
So
Something that
that'll give
I've
you
read in
1.
the past. Yeah.
And then Sheth assisting you can be an asset.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With his magical practices and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I'll spend two levels of effort for 3 points.
Okay.
Let's see what that looks like. So I'm down to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I rolled a 4.
Okay. So, this is particularly what you've got, given that there's a sorcerer here, is that the Ravers are dangerous, potent things, but they are also potent sources of magic, and it's very risky, very dangerous to do. But potentially, a sorcerer could bind it and use it for other purposes.
So he could be tapping into it as well.
Yeah.
Oof.
More likely, he probably is tapping into it, and he might be using the energy from the locals to keep up his wards and protections and lockdown on it.
Do we know of which village it is based on what the guard told us?
Yeah, he gave you directions to Ashtart, and that's maybe a couple hours walk from here into the valley. It's a.
Wait, where did we come from?
You originally came from Corso, which is a day and a half away.
All right, and our start is
a village, just a couple hours walk from here.
Okay.
It's where the patrol headed back to.
I would like to make sure the railway tracks head in that direction as well before going there for sure.
So we've already had the tracking roll on the Raver. I will say that the tracks are old enough. You're uncertain about where the Raver has gone, but definitely there are other tracks that, I mean, like from whoever was here at the temple and things like that. It definitely signs point that direction to Ashtart or the neighboring area around Ashtart.
Okay.
And the tracks of the Raver, are they? Do they indicate like a 4-legged entity or 2-legged, or?
That's a good question. Let's say 4-legged.
Interesting. Okay.
So what do you want to do? What's your approach to Varus?
So I think that now's a good time for us to scout around. Probably go to the largest thing, the tallest thing in this ruins.
Okay.
And I think Chef can, since he can see far and in the dark, he can probably spot things out.
Okay.
And then head off towards the Shart to see about seeing if we can weasel out who the sorcerer is.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So let's say to get the lay of the land, geography wise, with that vision power before it goes out, and with the night vision, I'll say difficulty 4.
All right.
The long vision gives you an asset to takes it down to 3. The dark vision gives you another one to take it down to 2.
Can I bring in learning new things?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's say that.
All right.
Does noticing danger apply?
What's
He's
that?
doing an assessment here just of the area to sense what's going on to get the lay of the land.
Because that would be 0 if it doesn't apply.
Right. Yep. That's why I'm not making him roll.
Cool.
There's a trail that goes into the mountains. You can see in the distance, the smoke that indicates you a village. All of the kind of the typical burning of pitch and lumber that has to be done to heat and light a place. You can see the dim glow of some farm suns around there. There's definitely up on the sort of the hillside mountains that surround the village slash town. There's some thick steads of woods, and in particular, you will note up on the high end of one stead, probably out of sight of the town itself, some smoke that indicates maybe campfires or something from a place up in the woods.
So I'll let you guys know this. The campfires in the woods might just be a local hunting party, but it might also be, the folks that we're looking for.
So yeah, let's head that direction.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So the 3 of you can head off essentially to the valley, and when we get there, you'll have a couple of choices. Let's take our 5 minutes now.
Okay.
To break this sequence up, and then we'll come back and I'll describe your choices of direction from there.
Perfect. 5.
Great. We are on a new day, so your recovery cycle starts anew, which means that the first recovery action just takes you a moment. And if you want to take that, it's a D6 plus 2, and you can recover that many points to your pools, or you can hold off on that.
No, that sounds good. D6 plus 2. Okay. So 3.
3. I'll mark that then. Shith. Rick 1. Varus, are you taking a recovery?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm marking that. It's a thing now. I realize needs to be on the sheet so people can mark what recovery level they're at. I'll have to remember that.
Another thing that might need to be on the sheet is
yeah.
the amount of effort someone could use.
Yeah, because I've just been saying it, the two, but I probably worth having on the sheet itself. So you three will walk, following on, maybe an hour behind that patrol. So it's probably dusk as you get to the valley, and the point at which essentially the moon goes down, you can finally kind of see them. So it's actually a little bit brighter at night, because you are getting the starlight and the moonlight that normally the magical eclipse that Nod provides extinguishes that during the day. It's a town that sits at the base of a valley. There are some small streams that seem to run down. There's some good sort of pine style woods around, that some of the wood stands have managed to survive a little, essentially drawing from the natural essence of the earth, which in time will kill the world, but that's the way things work. You can see that there's some farming areas on the outside of the village, some livestock. I keep saying village town. I'm going to say that interchangeably throughout here. You will see that the main part of the town seems to be these enormous covered ceramic like pots, maybe about 10, 15 feet high, and maybe a little bit larger than that across. And that seems to be sort of the main industry. A lot of people working there. Now you have a choice right now. You could head down into the town to check things out, or you could break off and head upslope the direction towards that smoke that Sheth found.
What do y'all think?
I think Varus, as we come up and we take the lay of the city, turns and just starts heading up anyway.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Towards the campfires, right?
Yes.
All right.
You will head up through these woods. Varus, you spotted this. I think. Tell me how experienced Dale Ross feels moving through these mountains.
Wait, Varus tells you how experienced.
Dale Ross, how you're moving through here. You don't have a great memory of your past. Does this feel familiar, unfamiliar, strange? How does it feel as you're moving through here?
Strangely familiar.
Okay.
Maybe.
yes, the trees and such. There's something about it that rings true to you.
Yeah, I think so.
There is a thick coating of fallen pine needles here, dead pine needles and frost and that kind of thing. Not a great deal of cover, but you'll actually walk for a couple of hours until you can see in the distance maybe a dim lights. People clearly some concealment set up to hide themselves, like some brush and camouflage put up, and that kind of thing. So whatever you're heading towards looks like some kind of encampment. How do you want to proceed?
I think I'm going to slip up in the dark to see if I can get a better view of what's going on, but I'm going to be away from the others.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So this is a stealth test. So this is speed.
Okay.
We'll put it against foe level here. So I think they're going to be 4 for the active patrol.
Okay. So I will do. I will use deception.
Okay.
To hide. So I'm specialized in deception, so that should make it a 2.
That seems fair.
What else is good?
Do you have any assets that would apply then?
I don't think so. I think I'll just roll that at 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
6+.
Yep. And I rolled a 12.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll move up on this. It's a group here that looks to you like bandits. There may be a dozen here. They're set up. They're kind of clearly in between gigs, as it were. And there does seem to be a leader, and they're kind of sitting around, maybe actually looking like they're getting things together, like they might head out tonight.
So these bandits don't look like the ones that we saw back in the inn previously.
No.
Yeah, these are different.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a sort of a rougher, wilder look. They definitely look like they're from the area, and they look like they've done pretty well for themselves.
So I think I'm going to slip back to Sheth and Doris and tell them, these seem to be simple bandits, possibly rich bandits, but I'm not sure that there's anything here that we need to view very much. They just seem to be hiding, not because they are worshiping at a cult. They seem to be hiding because they are thieves.
Right. So while the town might appreciate it if we took them out and grabbed their stuff back, it's definitely not the cultists and the necromancer or magician that we're looking for.
That is correct.
Sure. I will. I think I will express that I want to engage the bandits.
I'm shocked, Dolores, that you would wish to engage the bandits.
I wish to engage the bandits.
So how are you going to express this?
Okay.
Just say it?
Yeah, I want to engage the bandits. They will, if left unchecked, they will do much ill on the land.
So Varus just kind of raises his hand and turns and starts walking back down the hill. Now, this is because I have an inability in social interaction, not because I disagree with you. I'm just...
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
How many... wait, Varys, how many of them were there roughly?
Oh, I'm sure I explained how many there were.
How many were there? Well,
There were just shy of a dozen, including a leader.
Oh,
all right. Yes. And we're up on the hill, up in the hills, and we're shrouded by trees, right?
Yeah. No one has
Right.
seen you.
All right, good. Then then I will support you in your quest.
all right.
Dalaris?
I will bang or knock on the wood next to whatever. So if Chef wants to hide, now's the time.
Yes, I will go off to the side.
Well, if you move up sort of, without attempting stealth, since it isn't your strong suit, there are watchmen here. And so Sheth is probably concealed, but there's attention on you. And as you walk up, and the guy just goes though, and draws bow to shoot at you.
All right.
As you come, and you're kind of walking up. Are you moving into a run now?
No, I'm raising my hands.
I think they're going to shoot at you.
Yeah, I'm raising my hands so the watchmen see that I want to talk to the leader.
All right. So you've walked up on a bandit camp in the middle of the night. You are heavily armed. You're wearing plate mail. So I think right now we're looking at a difficulty 6 to convince this guy that you should just let me come and talk to your leader.
Does intimidation apply?
I'll give you that take us to a 5.
All right, that's a 15.
Yep.
Sure, I'll take it. I rolled a 1.
Oh
no! So he goes, "Oh yeah, shoot!" And there's a hail of arrows as the other bandits come here to also fire. You have plate armor, right?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, I need you to roll twice.
Okay.
Just don't roll a 1 or a 2.
All right. 16.
Okay, and
1.
Oh my God! The Gauntlet software is killing us.
It is. I think that Shane has probably modified.
I mean,
this.
we had like 2 nat 20s in a row, so
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Okay. So there's a hail of arrows that comes at you, and most of them bounce off your armor, but one of them hits you in the cheek and like pierces your cheek, and you're going to take 4 points of damage past your armor.
All right, so I'm okay. Put it in my current. So that's miter speed, right?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, so now what would you like to do?
I would like to engage bandits.
Okay.
So I think it's as this is going on, we hear this plink, plink, plink as it's kind of bouncing off of the armor, and I think Varys, who's heading down the hill, kind of stops and hangs his head and just kind of shakes it, turns around.
All right. So Dalaris,
Yes.
you can move up on this first bandit. You have 4 shifts modifier to your attack, right?
3.
Okay.
And my defense and speed defense. Nah, those are defense, not.
Yeah, but your great sword, you actually have both the divine shifts plus the trained, so you have a
Right.
-4 mod.
Yes.
So this guy has a 4 to defend. So your first blow cuts this guy who shot you in the cheek down, and then there were 11. And there. Do you want to use your ability to hack down another one?
Sure.
Okay. And again, describe to me what this looks like, because for you, this is, I mean, it goes to 0 difficulty. What does a 0 difficulty look like with you marching up in the middle of this bandit encampment?
I got things like paper.
like real casual.
Yeah.
Blade just kind of turns in the air, kind of chunk, chunk, and
Yes.
two of them are dead, and then there were 10. Chef, what do you want to do?
Let's see. They have sort of a is it sort of like a little circular encampment?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I'd really like to do is make a Molotov cocktail out of one of my bottles of cheap but flammable alcohol.
Okay.
And lob it into the middle of their area.
All right. So I think that will be a speed thing to throw it accurately. But I do think that you've got the assets here. So let's say 4 goes down to a 3. Do you have any skills that would apply to flinging a Molotov cocktail into the middle of a bandit camp?
Well, a lot of folks would be worried about throwing a super dangerous Molotov cocktail, but I don't notice danger like that. So maybe in this particular case, it works as in my favor.
No.
Can you just use hurl flame and it will be better than just throwing a Molotov cocktail?
This is going to be so much fun. You wait and see. It's going to be very successful. Let's see. Could I draw upon my geography and history? Because I'm lobbing a fireball the way that the great chieftain Luruk did all those many years ago.
I am a supremely generous GM, and even that is reaching.
Man. All right. I think it is what it is.
Points from your speed pool.
Oh yeah, good point.
To reduce that, spend 3 points from your speed pool to reduce it to a 2.
Let's do that.
Okay.
No, spend 5 points because you don't have an edge.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm sorry, I was miscounting the thing. So yeah, it'd be a 3 right now.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, 4. Asset took it down to 3.
So if I spend
that takes down to a 2. So you're at a 2 right now.
All right.
If you do more, it'll be a 1. You're at a 1 right now. So now there's almost no chance that this could go horribly wrong.
All right. I feel pretty confident about this. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking another 20 is going to come up here. And go. Oh, 19. I'll take it.
So I'm going to essentially use your hurl flame as the damage value for this, okay?
All right.
Because you could have done that just as easily. A 19 gives you 3x points damage. So that arcs over, lands in the middle, and erupts, boosted by your own natural fire powers, and sends a number of them flying, ignites the camp, and then there were 7 left.
Huh, awesome. I just start cackling.
Okay. So they are going to now try and hit you, Dalaris. Varus, you'll be back on the next actions. That seem cool?
Yep.
Well, flaming camp, yes.
Yes. So let's say that maybe 4 of them can get up by you. So I need you to make 4 defense rolls with a speed defense. And the difficulty for them is a 4 with their weapons.
So my speed defense is 1, or you reduce it by 1.
Yeah, so it goes to a 3. So you have a difficulty 3.
So that's a 9 or better.
That is a 9 or better.
Right.
And they're not going to do any damage to you unless you roll really low.
The only thing that rolled low is a 3.
Okay. So a 3.
And I got a 20 on one of them.
Okay. So I'll let the 20 negate the 3. How about?
All right.
So they rush up on you and they rain blows at you. Some of them you dodge adroitly, and some of them just bounce off your armor. I mean, they just can't touch you right now. There are 7 of them left, 6 of them plus a leader type, and she looks like she's a little more skilled, and she is drawing a blade as well. What do you want to do?
By the way, the other 2 were a 17 and a 16. If
Oh,
you
yeah,
needed to know. All right, I'm going straight for the leader because reasons.
Okay. So difficulty leader level is a 7.
All right, 7 minus my 4. That's a 3.
Yep.
And I will, I guess, thrust. And I will. Is there anything else that I can do? I will spend my 3 points of might edge.
Okay.
Because I can.
Are you doing that towards damage or to hit?
To hit.
Okay. So I think that gets you down to a 1 right now.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. So you will hit. How much damage does that do?
It is 16 plus the thrust.
So
that's
17.
another 1.
Okay.
Wow.
So you run her through. She's gotten her blade out. She's got that she's got that scar. You know, she's the bandit leader. She's been doing this for years. And then suddenly she sprouted a blade. And there's just a shocked look on her face because she didn't even see the sword coming. She's still kind of raising it up to try and maybe knock it aside. And she realizes briefly that she's dead. And then she slumps and probably slides off your blade. And then
I tell everyone else to run.
Then there were 5. What? Sorry, 6. Then there were 6. What are you doing now, Sheth?
I would like to get into their encampment and see if I can. It looks like the God of War, which nobody expects ever,
right?
Has this like well in hand. So I want to get into their encampment and see if I can pull away some of their baggage, save it from my fiery wrath, so that it could maybe be returned to the townsfolk.
Okay. So I'm going to say difficulty 4 speed check.
Oh man, maybe I'm doing it in the mighty way. Let's see.
It could be difficulty 4 intellect, in which case you're not very good at spotting where the danger is, and it would be difficulty 5.
No, I mean speed makes sense.
Don't you have the far step power? So you could jump in?
No, I have far sight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You do have far step.
Yeah, you do have far step.
I do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Next to hurl flame.
You have to you have to scroll down on your divine shift page.
Let's see here.
You have to spend 2 intellect points though. Which whatever.
Which is free.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, good catch. I did not scroll down far enough. I will absolutely do that.
I'll reduce difficulty by 1 then for that being used as an asset.
All right.
And what's the difficulty right now then?
So it was a 4, so now it's a 3.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. I used it at the bar. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at like a 9 or better, right?
Yes.
All right, I'll take it.
You can also invoke your Shroud of Flame, which will give you armor against any damage you might take. Because it's flame armor.
Oh, absolutely. Then I shall. How many points does that cost?
Just 1, but that's
well,
Intellect.
Yeah, 1 intellect.
Right. So that brings us down to a 2.
Yeah, we'll do it as an asset. That seems fair.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see what happens. 13.
13. So that's a margin of 7. So that's pretty good. So you find some general stuff. You grab up some coins and things like that. Some papers. What is something that you grab that out of the ordinary, or do something, or is super valuable? What do you find that you're able to grab before this place goes up in this dry pine needle filled set of woods?
Right. So I'm going through all the stuff. I kick over some furs, and lo and behold, there is an infant there.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't think this belongs to these guys. So I will grab the infant.
Okay, grab that up and move out of there. Varus, you see the god of war, move in, and then there's an explosion, whoosh, and you see the flames catch, and you realize you're standing on a mountainside of tinder. What would you like to do?
Yeah, so I think Varus kind of steps through the flames a little bit in his darkened cloak and steps up kind of where the remaining 5 or 6 people are.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to activate my terrifying presence and tell them, death comes for you. Flee now. Or,
nice.
Yeah.
So you're going to apply effort to hit these level 4 mooks.
Yeah.
And their difficulty would normally be a 4, but I'm going to say that the circumstances are going to reduce that by 2. Just because. Do you have anything else to reduce that?
Intimidation.
I have intimidation.
Okay. So that's will take you to a 1.
Okay. I'll roll that.
Okay.
And I rolled. That's a 1. I rolled a 1.
Well, there goes blaming the software.
Yep.
So you will step up into this, okay, to do that. Mm-hmm. And this is the GM intrusion that I don't have to pay you XP for. Because as you step up, you will hear this crack, and this pine tree that's nearest the camp that you realize now is probably pretty fragile. And the fire kind of runs up the pitch alongside it, and it falls on you.
Okay.
And you're going to take 4 points of might damage.
Okay. Armor?
Armor will apply, yes. Okay. So you start to get up, and you were going to be terrifying, except you got hit by a flaming log.
I'm completely embarrassed. Like,
I think that they weren't scared away, so they're going to again take some shots on you. So one of them is going to take a shot on Varus, 1 on Sheth, and then the other 4 on Delris.
I'm holding a baby. What?
Yeah, you stole a baby. Let's start with Dalaris.
The one who's not holding a baby. Okay.
So 4 of them on
right?
you.
Submit. What are we looking for? I have a 9, a 10, an 11, and a 12.
Yeah. You dodge all of them, but there's no worry about that. Essentially, the lower ones that do hit, ping, 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 off your armor. Okay,
right.
You're doing a fixed 4, and that is bouncing off of that. I was hoping you'd roll low, so you take some more damage, like you did with the bow. Sheth, this guy goes to stab you. He's kind of looks like he sees you've grabbed a baby, and you see he's like clearly does a calculation because that's somebody they're holding for ransom. Maybe he can grab the baby and get out of here, so he goes to stab you and get the baby away from you.
Oh man, what a jerk!
Difficulty is 4.
My Shroud of Flame will automatically do 2 points of damage to him.
Oh,
because he's striking me in a melee attack.
Yeah.
And let's see, difficulty 4.
Speed.
Pearl Flame. it would be a good idea to reduce it to a 1.
Well, he's attacking me, so am I?
Yeah. So you have to roll a defense, is what you have to do first.
Oh, never mind.
Otherwise, for
That's
sure,
okay.
yeah.
Yes.
So you're at a difficulty 4 speed test.
Oof, man. Can I use effort here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. How does that?
If you spend 3 points of speed.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can't. I actually can't.
You
I can only really use it with intellect because I don't have edge and yeah.
Right.
You can still use the effort, it just costs more.
Oh man.
It's a hard choice.
It
Got
is.
this baby. If he stabs you, boy.
Yeah.
Players' tears.
Right.
What do you think?
I think I'm just gonna go ahead and roll. I'm feeling.
All right. You need 12 plus.
All right. $18.
18 is great. So what's the surprise thing that you're able to get out of the way? Is it just having the baby that kind of freaks you out, or what does that look like?
Yeah, it's obviously I have to try to defend myself and my mongoose and this baby at the same time, and it just turns into this weird like juggling thing at one point with like a tumbling roll where I just sort of grab them all up once I'm on the other side and I keep on going.
I forgot you had a mongoose.
Fair enough. Yes, that's great. Varus, one of these guys takes advantage of the log having fallen on you and goes to hit you upside the head with a club. Difficulty 4.
Yeah. I think I'll spend the speed to bring that down to a 3, and then I'll roll that.
Okay.
Ooh, I dropped my d20. Okay. That is a 19.
Okay. And this guy's probably as he comes at you, you've got so much of this pitch and tar pine wood around you that it probably catches onto his cloak, and now he's trying to put that out.
I warned you.
Dalaris, back to you.
Since I see that there's a freaking baby that they kidnapped, I'm gonna show no quarter.
Okay.
I will. It's -4, right?
Yeah, so it's a 0. So
I am going to spend 2 intellect from successive attack to kill another one.
Okay. Chook, shook. You have the number of people that are fighting you, that chop them down. They are caught. And again, this would be cinematic, widescreen. There's a fire burning. You just cut this 2 group. They're bouncing their blades off of you. Sheth, you see that this guy is still kind of pursuing you, but you dodge out of the way. What do you want to do, Sheth?
I want to let's see. Yeah, I guess while I'm running, I wouldn't mind throwing some flame on that guy who is behind me.
Okay. So you wish to hurl flame?
Yes.
Okay. So
4 -3.
it's all you have to roll is a 3 or better to hit this guy.
All right.
Or you could spend effort with your intellect and just do it.
Oh, let's just do that then.
Okay.
Then 1 point.
1 point?
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. So he comes running at you. And what happens is it's that you throw flame at him, or do the flames that are around him come up and grab him? What does it look like?
Yeah, I mean he's already got some burns from attacking me while I'm surrounded in this protective aura, but I take a minute to just sort of look at him and do a hand motion, and this ball of fire just engulfs him.
And that's the thing, is there's this moment when you throw that where everything so far has been like, okay, well, there's fire around him. I got burned by that. But then you pull fire out of the air and you throw it at him, and there's his eyes get wide before they kind of catches him full in the face. And he will drop to the ground. And he is gone. Varus.
So I think Varus is going to turn and attack one of them.
Okay.
And this is just going to be an attack. The weapon that I have is a tiger claw, a knuckle claw kind of thing.
Okay.
And go ahead.
It's a light weapon, so it reduces difficulty by 1.
Okay. So there were 4. That makes it a 3.
Yep.
I also have Reckoning, where if I attack opponent that I've observed in combat, the difficulty of my next attack is reduced by a step.
Oh,
Goes to a
nice.
2.
Yep. So let's roll that. That is a 20. Yay!
Hey.
So, what happens? What does that look like when you break a dude?
Yeah. So I think what this looks like is this claw comes out, and he comes at me. I dodge. I stab him in the chest, and he's still, brandishing his sword, and doesn't realize that, something strange just happened, and then kind of comes down to his knees, and he looks down, and there's blood gushing, and he's like, "That's strange. I don't know what that means," and then topples over.
Topples over into that. Delris, there are 2 people left, 2 bandits that are fighting you, and too late for them. They realize that they should be running, and they go to do that. What happens to them?
They run into the forest that is catching on fire. Yes.
Okay, you kind of chase them into that, and
I don't chase them. If they're running away, I let them run away.
Okay.
I don't care what happens to them afterwards.
all right. So
As long as they're not doing any more banditry after.
they will take off into the woods. The place is kind of going up now, and they are lost to sight. But this bandit camp is destroyed. The flames are going up. The fire will go for a while, but as I mentioned it, that the earth itself kind of feeds the trees and so on. So there is that bit where the fire ought to go further, it ought to catch and burn, but the earth itself starts eating that energy because it desperately needs it. And it will start swallowing up those flames and drawing it in, like water evaporating off of skin. But it goes for a while, and it is clearly visible from the city or from the town, and large, and smells like a pine tree burning, which is not the best smell in the world.
Are you kidding? It smells like a victory.
I guess it's time to head into town.
Okay, yeah.
We can explain to them that the bandits are gone.
Wow, that was a great job all around. And Varus, that thing you did with the sort of it was almost like you were like a Wolverine type creature there for a second. It was pretty cool.
And did you see how well I scared them? I did a great job.
They were terrified.
They were terrified.
Absolutely. And Dalaros, man, maybe we should clean you up in the river before we get to town. I mean, you must be literally covered in entrails.
Am I? I mean, not mine, but
no, not yours. Yeah.
yeah.
You look like you played a couple of hours of Dragon Age, and you left the blood thing on.
We need the dog.
Yeah.
All right, sure. I'll do that, and I'll spend my recovery.
Okay. Does anybody else
2
want
of
to
them.
spend?
Oh
Two of
yeah.
them?
Well,
Okay.
I'll spend a recovery while she's cleaning up.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right,
I'll do the same.
I'll do 2 recoveries. So
Okay.
Ooh, and I can divide those however I want.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's 5 plus
2 or 3 for you.
3, which is 8, which brings me to full, and then 6 plus 8 plus 3, which brings me the other one to full as well.
Okay. And so you will stop to kind of catch your breath, the smoke kind of rolling behind you. I imagine that in in a film, we would see a big gathering of people from the town. They've got their lanterns and weapons, and they've kind of come to the edge of the woods. They don't want to go up because they don't know what's going on. And then out of the sort of the glow behind you, and maybe that bits of like now when a fire catches, it'll catch the sparks, and that'll kind of fly up that behind you. You got that sort of starlight of embers, and you three come walking out, blood on you, a crying baby in your arms, and these villagers are like just jaw drop. Probably a couple of the guards that you saw before, and one of the ones that you talked to, and he'll come rushing forward and say, "Are you okay?"
Bandits are gone.
Really?
Yes.
It kind of looks at all the blood on your plate armor, and a woman will come running up and go to take the baby from you, Chef.
I will give it to her.
And she will rush back to her husband, and she's sort of clutching it to her chest. The people are all kind of like, "What's going on? What's going on?" There's just this crowd that starts to form around you. How do you want to take advantage of this, Varus? If you do.
Varus is stepping back out of the limelight, letting the other two kind of handle this. And he's kind of off in the shadows, maybe behind a tree or sitting down on a stump, watching the others gather around them.
Okay.
I'm just observing.
So one of the things you have is everybody has his manifest nimbus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's the ability to turn on your divine glow. But it's also the ability to see divine things. And so you will notice several people in the crowd. You'll see like a really dim, like black light, kind of purple glow, like in spots on them, like maybe a bit here on one of them, and maybe a bit here on another one of them. And the woman who took the baby kind of runs back to her husband, and her husband has one of those marks of the glow on him.
Interesting.
And they are very much kind of watching Sheth and Dalaris, like they're not sure what to make of them. Dalaris, what do you want to do? How do you want to take advantage?
So I go up to the guards and say, I heard you have a cold problem. The same guards I talked to earlier.
Well, yeah. We'll take you to the constable, and he'll take you to the overseer.
All right.
Is that okay? Come with us. Come with us.
That is good.
Yes. We'll probably want to spend the night here too. Will that be possible? Can we get some food and?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'll make sure we get rooms for you, and food, and the best wine and beer, whatever you wish.
Now we're talking. All right, excellent.
Oh, anything you want.
I'm going to kind of memorize these people who have the spark on them, so I would be able to recognize them later, or be able to kind of tell where they go.
Okay.
Nice.
You can spot. There's maybe 7 or 8 of them scattered out amongst the people here. All men, all sort of in their 20s. Kind of the ones that look to you like maybe the more angry of the town folk. This guard will bring you up as you see this guy kind of trotting along. He's a little rotund, maybe a little out of his fighting trim, but he's got kind of a uniform on. And they'll say, "Constable Sabrar, these people dealt with the bandits, killed them off. And he's like, really?
It is true. They won't bother you no more.
Really? All of the bandits?
2 ran away.
I think 2 ran away, but I don't think they'll be around here for a very long time.
Who are you that could be such a warrior and a what are you? You have a look of a scholar about you.
Yeah, I am more of a scholar, but my friend here is the mightiest warrior in the land.
Oh, okay. If you say so. And the guard vouches. Oh, they had the baby, and the forest was on fire, and this, and he's like, okay, well, we'll go. We'll send someone in the morning to check, but for the moment, allow us to show you the town's hospitality.
Sounds great. And in the morning, you should send somebody to check with a strong stomach.
Fair enough. That is a wise decision. And they will fet you with food, beer, wine, whatever it is you want. They don't serve you what they make here, which is kind of a slime-based goop that they create. That's a protein sort of substitute that they grow in these vats. They feed it with minerals from the woods, and then they cut out chunks of it and ship it out. They actually feed you from like the livestock that they have.
Great. I'll contribute a bottle of my alcohol too.
Oh no! We insist. Your alcohol's no good here.
Okay. See, guys, this is what it's really like. This is what it's supposed to be like.
Eventually you 3 will have a bit of time to sort of to yourselves to speak with one another.
Good.
So Varys notes these people who had the glow and asks if they noticed it as well.
Yes.
Yes, but a partial glow. What does that mean?
I suspect that what might be going on here is what we're seeing is the effect from the Raver where it's feeding off of them, or the sorcerer is feeding off of them. What we're seeing is an impact from the divine melding. How likely is that?
Could be. You don't know. You'd have to examine them.
Maybe
I
we
thought
could.
Chef might have read something in his magic books about this.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Is there anything historical or magical?
Or it might help just to, find one of them and talk to them.
That's true. In fact, it was the husband of the baby, or the woman, the father of the baby I saved. Sorry,
the baby daddy.
The baby daddy is one of them.
Daddy, yes.
Okay.
You could also we could do this under pretense of returning some of the items that the bandits had. So you can take the some of the stuff that you had and say, is any of this yours?
Oh yeah, some of the papers and the coins.
Is that how you want to proceed?
Yes.
Sounds like a plan. So and I assume you don't go by yourself, that you have companions with you. Does that seem like a logical shorthand?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can go with.
It's like having the mountain behind you.
And you've had a chance to rest, relax, do all this, and you ask about the mother of the baby, and someone will direct you to the household. And you knock, the lights are still on, and this woman will answer the door, and she'll kind of do the shh, like the baby's sleeping, and she's like, "Come in."
All right.
I don't know how to thank you. I had thought that we would not ever see our child again.
Yeah, they were foul creatures to take an infant like that. So they got what was coming to them. But we have some more items. thought maybe you and your husband could take a look at them and see if any of them belong to you, or if you know who they belong to.
Well, I'll look through them. My husband is out, but I will.
Out. Where has he gone? We were looking forward to meeting him.
He has traps to see in the woods. Sometimes he hunts, and she says not very convincingly to herself. Sometimes he has to go and check on those. So he headed out.
Can I check to see if she's telling the truth?
She is telling the truth, but she doesn't believe it.
Ah, I see.
So, how far away is Dujar?
It's about 2 hours away.
Okay. I'm guessing Varys is not talking, so I'll nudge to him and say, how about we go to Dujar now?
We can leave.
The temple.
Certainly. Should we check to see if other people have mysteriously left as well?
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
You noted which ones they were, right?
I did.
Yeah, let's pay some visits, like 3 super dangerous wise men in the night.
I figure there's probably only one more person is who we need to check with. If they're also mysteriously gone, that seems suspicious.
Yeah, that's true. It's a pattern.
Let me have you make an intellect roll. Pretty low difficulty. Let's say a 3 to spot this.
Okay. So I think that I can get an asset with finding or noticing details.
Yep.
And I'll roll, see if I can beat a 6. And I got a 10.
Nice.
So kind of move around, maybe are heading out, and you will see someone, one of the people you spotted before, clearly like leaving their house. And they kind of look around, and you'll see them heading up the other slope into the other set of woods, essentially on the opposite side of the valley. And they're clearly trying to stay out of sight, but that glow that you see kind of marks them for you.
Okay. So let's follow him.
Yeah, are we able to hide our nimbuses?
Yes.
Okay.
You can conceal them. You have the sense that they could tell that something was different about you, but they weren't like seeing the full nimbus from you. They just could tell something was odd.
Yeah. Well, we're not from around here.
That is very true. That's very true. Though the Dalaris doesn't know where he's from. So.
Oh yeah, good point.
So you'll make your way up. If this figure heads into the woods, and this is clearly a path he's taken before, and he's not particularly worried about people following him. It's dark, it's night, no one would follow him into the woods. You guys are celebrating, so the town is distracted, and you will see him move up. I think I do want one of you to make a stealth check.
So I think I'll do that.
Okay, it's
please.
It is speed.
Okay.
For the test, and I say you've got some advantages ahead of you, but it's still going to be a difficulty 4 because of the pine needles and all of that.
Right. I think the way that we're going to set this up is I will follow him at a distance where I can keep track of him and stay sneaky.
Okay.
However, the other 2 will stay further back, so they're less likely to be heard or anything like that, but they can keep track of me.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. And so that's a difficulty 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to take would deception apply in this case?
I'll let you use that in this case. It seems worthwhile.
Okay, so I'm specialized in that, so that takes it down to a 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have anything else that would help me be sneaky, so I'll roll that.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll do the hard move on that in a minute.
Yeah. Snap.
So you will follow up behind them. And eventually this guy hits the sort of top rise of this place, and you will see that there is a group of them gathered. And you will see that they have what looks to just common sight like kind of a wicker man, about 8 feet tall. And it's kind of hollow. But you can see that there is something contained inside of it. You will see this raver in there. You can see that. And for you as a divine being, when you come up on this thing, it's like a headache hits you as soon as you see it, because this is the dead skin of a god. But the other thing that you will notice is that there are gaps on the sort of glow of this raver, patches where it looks like parts have been taken out. And you'll see there are these 8 guys there, and they're kind of talking. They have these matching marks on them that kind of glow from under their clothing. And you will see this guy who has arcane implements, has the classic robes. He has the wavy dagger of the evil cultist. And they are telling him about these 3 strangers who came into town, who destroyed the bandits, but there was something about them they couldn't tell, but there was something unusual. And it's at that point that you crack and step on that branch, and it gives Varus, and everyone turns and looks at you.
So before we go any further, I have a power called Find the Flaw. So if an opponent has a straightforward weakness, like they take extra damage for fire or something like that, I'm supposed to know what that is. So specifically, I'm looking at like the raver or the cultists and the relationship between them. Like if we hurt a cultist, would it hurt the raver or something like that?
It seems to you like right now the raver is bound and held by that wicker man. Damaging that could cause it to get free. But you suspect that part of it is embedded in each of these people, and striking there would probably damage the raver significantly before you'd have to deal with it.
Okay.
So I think you need to roll initiative, Stephen.
Yeah. So I think that the way that this looks is crack, and I think I stand there for a second and I raise my hands with the cloak and I say, "Death comes for you" again, but I'm not going to spend any points in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Elris and Sheth, you also need to make an initiative check, but we're going to do one round of them as you come up. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, sounds good.
The difficulty is 5. That seems about the average for the speed here.
I got a 20.
Okay.
I have initiative training.
So it becomes a 4.
Danger says. So I have to be that 12.
Yep.
I do not. I rolled an 11.
Okay.
I fail.
Fail. Okay. All right. So let's Varus, you've given away the element of surprise, but you're fast. Before anybody could do anything, what do you do?
I think that me make sure. Yeah. I think that what I'm going to do for this round is I'm going to turn to the cultist, and I'm going to say, you, what is your name? And I don't think he remembers. So, this is Steel Name, and it, short range.
Okay.
Lift it directly from their thoughts. They cease taking actions for up to a minute until they're attacked or provoked. Well, maybe provoking wouldn't work. We will see. I'm going to try that anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Difficulty is 7.
Okay. So, I'm not really that invested in this. I think that I'll use intimidation.
Okay.
So that'll bring it down to a 6. And I'll spend just in case, I'll spend a point of I'll spend 3 points of intellect to bring that down.
Got it at a 4.
I've already used my Steel Name power, right?
Right.
So I've got it at I think that makes it a 5, right?
4.
4? Okay. Oh yeah. It's 4. And I'll roll that.
Okay.
And I got a 2.
Oh, no.
So you will go to do that. And he kind of sees, he kind of open up, and there's some of that divine energy. And he has power, and he throws it back down the conduit at you. So I need you to make an intellect defense roll. Difficulty 6.
Okay, that's a pretty big one. 6 would be 18. I don't know that deception would help me slink away from anything here. So, and I think I'm just going to roll that. So,
okay.
Yep. And I got a 17. Oh.
Okay.
Almost.
So that is so close, but you will take a damage. And so that's a fail at 17. So you're going to take 4 points of intellect damage.
Okay.
And then a couple of these cultists are going to rush up to try and grab you and pull you to the ground. We're going to do them as a mob.
Okay.
So I think the difficulty, we'll say there's is going to be a 5 because there's a bunch of them.
Okay.
Speed defense to or either can speed or might. I'm good with either one.
I think I'm going to do speed because I think I can apply my deception against that, so they don't know where I'm. I can dodge out of the way, and I don't think they know where I'm going.
I like that.
So that is it was at 5.
5 becomes a 3.
Deception is it's a 3, and I don't want to be pulled down, so I will spend 3 points of speed to make that a 2.
Makes it a 2.
Let's roll. And I got a 7. No, I got an 11.
Okay, so that will allow you to dodge out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going up to the top of the next round. You're going to go, they're going to go, and then your companions are going to go.
Okay.
Because they'll be arriving. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you've managed, they brush up and they're trying to bring you down. You felt that burning from the channeled essence. Essentially, he's got some of that raver energy. You threw it into your brain. What do you want to do?
Let's see. I'm not great at fighting. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to throw down one of my ciphers, and I have a force cube.
Okay.
I'm going to just toss that down. It creates like a cube of force that's like a few meters by a few meters or something like that, and just hide behind it. Use it as something to dodge.
Okay. Creates an immobile cube composed of 6 planes of solid force, each 30 feet to a side for 1 hour.
Oh, that's huge then.
Okay. So tell me what that looks like, that magic item, when you do that.
I think what this looks like is this is a tiny little wooden tablet, and it has like a sigil on it. And I break it, and where I do that, it's almost as if there's this ooze that comes out of that, and I didn't fully know what to expect there. And
Fair
this
enough.
ooze kind of comes out. It's like this. It's not quite lava. It's like a cool stone that flows like liquid and forms this large cube. And I think it shoves us all kind of out of the way.
Okay.
But now there's this barrier.
Okay. So you are completely enclosed in this cube.
Is it inside or is it outside?
It is. It is a mobile cube composed of 6 planes of solid force, each 30 feet to a side. I guess you could declare that you just have this 30-foot cube in front of you, that it pushes you back. That seems fair to me.
My intention was to just make a barrier between me and the rest of the...
So you kind of shove yourself back. There's that magical barrier. The sorcerer is going to, again, try and let loose on you with the essentially the power of this horrible raver. So difficulty is a 7.
7. Okay.
I'll let the force cube be an asset to take it down to a 6.
Okay. Can I see? Let's see. Is there any weakness in this guy's connection to the raver that I could take advantage of, like by finding or noticing it?
Well, the weakness is really the Wicker Man itself.
Okay.
And the people.
Okay. So that's at 6. I'll spend a point of intellect. Because I can
get you to a 5.
5, and I think that might be the best I can do. So
Okay.
I'm gonna roll and see what I get. I got a 13.
Okay. So
no.
No.
So you're going to take 4 points more of intellect damage.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay. As that blasts your mind. I will say that the 30-foot cube will prevent the cultists, the lesser guys, from getting to you to attack this round.
Okay.
Okay. Which may seal their death warrant. Sheth, you can move up. You'll see that Varus is behind this force cube of magic. There are some villagers with these glows on them that are trying to rush up to get around it. There's a wavy dagger cultist and a wicker man with a dead god in it.
So I'm basically down on my knees, with a piercing headache, basically trying not to puke. But I think whenever Sheth and Dolaris come up, I tell them the weaknesses that I saw, that basically the wicker man is containing the raver, and the cultists, if you kill them, it will weaken the raver.
All right. Well, this is a pretty serious situation. We know you loved your force cube, and for you to actually use it, it's. I want to do my. Am I up?
Yep.
And then I will attack with my heat attack, Cypher. What does that do?
Okay.
I want to attack the cultist with that.
Okay. Heat attack. Essentially, it's going to add +2 damage to everything you do for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time to use this.
Okay. So you get +2 damage, and what do you want to do?
I want to hurl flame at the wavy dagger holding cultist.
Okay. He's potent. He's got a lot of energy around him. The difficulty to hit him is a 6 right now.
Oof. Okay.
Minus the 3 from
my divine shift.
Becomes a 3 difficulty to hit him.
And then I can use. Can I use 3 points of intellect to make that a 0?
That'll go down 2 levels, so you go to a 1.
It's 5 points.
Oh, for intellect?
No, 3. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
12. So then you would need a 3 or better.
All right, I'm gonna go with that. 4.
Oh.
Piece of cake.
And that's 13 damage plus 2 is 15 damage. He has armor or magic of that. He is almost dead.
Yes.
With that shot. Essentially, you light him up with that. But you break that magic item and channel its energy and throw that and hit him, and he is almost completely gone just on that shot. Dalaris.
I will take my effort enhancer, a Cypher,
Okay.
which gives me +1 effort for an hour, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't count towards your effort max.
Can I rush up to the cult leader?
Sure. I'm gonna say it's a little more difficult because you've got to get through the people and around. Do you have anything to move fast up there?
No, but I can
Okay.
cut through the people if need be.
My difficulty is going to be 7.
7 minus 4 from my greatsword.
Becomes a 3.
And I will
Free
spend-
effort becomes a 2.
Yes, and I will spend the remaining 3 points to reduce it to a 0.
So you push through these people, they go flying, and you rush up to this cultist who is just kind of on fire. And what happens? Where do you,
I deal
where does this bleed
16
go?
points of damage.
Okay, and but no, but that's not mechanically, fictionally. What does it look like?
So I'm like pushing people aside. I will try to avoid killing them, but if I have to, I will. And I just run up to the sorcerer, and I will slash at him.
Okay.
As soon as possible.
Okay, and so you bring that down, and you catch him hard, and he just crumples. That blade goes down and crumples and drops him. And
I will turn my attention to the Wicker Man because that river is gonna go out.
Yeah, that wicker thing just bursts. All of that wicker that's wrapped around that thing bursts, and you'll hear screams from the people as this raver starts pulling back its flesh from them.
Oh, hideous.
Varus. What do you want to do?
Other than run away and hide?
That's all, yeah.
Let's see. How large is it?
It's about 10 feet tall.
Okay. Can I get to it?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up to it, and I'm going to do. Oh no, this thing's like at a 7, right?
Yep.
I don't know what I can do.
You can always try to
away.
create an asset for other people.
Yeah, that's
true.
a good point.
Yeah. What I was going to do is I was going to see about doing perfect submission where I could hold it in place so it didn't get to act, but I don't think I can beat its 7 level. So that sounds super dangerous. So what I'm going to do instead, that's a good idea. I'm going to I think I'm going to start I'm going to go up to some of these cultists that are distracted as they're being torn apart, and I'm going to attack one of them. I've seen them kind of attack. I'm going to see them, and I've seen what they do. They pull people down and that kind of stuff. I'm going to try and carve off one of the Raver's flesh pieces for myself.
Okay. So let's say I think that's going to be difficulty 4.
Okay.
To do that as a might check.
Mm-hmm. So since I've seen them attack in combat, can I take
Yep.
one off for reckoning?
Up to 3.
Okay. And let's see, finding or noticing details.
Yeah,
It's
you
okay
haven't
to say
applied
no.
a skill. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 2. I
Okay.
will spend might because I have it.
Okay.
And let's see if I
Becomes-
can roll better than a 3.
Okay.
And I rolled a 6.
6. So that will cut in, and it actually, when you cut into it, it's not like a physical thing, but you kind of get a part of it and kind of cut into that thing. Actually, kind of, it's like a patchwork, like the threads of power on it kind of come apart, and the Raver will cry out. It did not dig that.
Yeah, so no, what I'm looking for is not necessarily to kill the cultist or anything like that, but to distract the Raver.
Oh yeah, you've
so
done that.
It provides an asset.
And when he pulled it off, it clearly hurt the Raver, and it bounds over to you.
Nice. Okay.
And it reaches down with this hand of madness and goes to grab onto you. Difficulty 7 speed test.
Okay. So that's a 7. Let's see. I'm going to try and feint out of the way and try and use deception.
Okay, I'll give you a 5.
5. And I really don't want it to hit me, so I'll spend 3 points of speed to make that a 4.
Okay.
And I don't know that I have anything else, so I will roll at a 4.
So 12 plus.
I got a 17.
Yay.
Get out of the way as it just, this huge hand goes to reach at you, and you could tell it was just going to tear your brain out. Just your mind. It was just going to reach in there and pull everything out. Chef.
Yes.
What do you want to do?
Set it on fire, please.
Well, we can do that. And we also saw what the reaction that that it had to.
Yeah, it didn't like having those things taken off, and it went after the person who did that. So could certainly draw its attention if you'd like.
Yeah. Can I use its current state of irritation in my favor?
Well, what is it you want to do? Do you want to try and hit it with your fire, or do you want to try and take off one of these sort of marks on these people like Varus did?
Yeah. Well, if I try to do that, what would I be using for that? Would that be
difficulty 4 might test to do that on one of these people?
Yeah, let's give that a try.
Okay. So difficulty 4.
Okay. Let's see.
Not your strong suit.
Not my strong suit. I'm sort of focused on this magical patch of brilliance. Could I bring in magic practice and magical artifacts?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
3.
Let's see. I'm using that dagger to do this, which does not give me a light weapon bonus.
Nope.
Which is sad. And then I'll use I guess would it be
for 3
6 points?
For 3 points, you could lower it down by 1. For 5 points, you could lower it down by 2.
Okay. Then I'll lower it by 2 for 5 points.
So I think I go to his difficulty 1. You just need a 3 or better.
All right. Come on. 7.
7. So that will tear this thing sort of spiritually off from it, and the Raver again seems to take some damage from that effect there. You have a sense that each of these cultists has a little bit of its hit points, like maybe 5 damage from that, from pulling that out of there, just to give you a sense of where that's going.
Cool.
now it is time for Dalaris.
I will stab the Raver because I also wanted to know that I'm right here and I am about to fucking stab you.
Difficulty 7 to start.
-4.
-4 becomes difficulty 3.
And then I
Do you want to apply your effort to hitting or damage?
Hitting.
Okay.
Well, and my 1 effort from the 1 hour of free effort I have.
So that becomes a 2 before you spend any of your points.
I will spend 3 more of my points to make it a 0.
0. So you will just hit for 16 points of damage.
Yes.
That catches this thing full in the mid side, and cuts into it, kind of pulls back, and yeah, you have its full attention.
Right, cool.
That, and you can see that parts of it kind of tearing, the sort of the threads of it, giving that blow hurt. Varus.
So I assume that Dalaris can keep its attention, and I'm going to go after another cultist.
Okay. Same difficulty 4.
Difficulty 4. And what was it? So I think
your claw will make it a difficulty 3
for reckoning, right?
Yeah. So 2.
Okay. And I'll roll it 2.
Okay.
And I got a 16.
Okay, yes. So that will do that. So it becomes that. So you will again pull it off. It cries out, but the wound that it took from Dalaris was significantly worse. Dalaris, I need you to make a speed defense against a 7.
I am trained in speed defense, so I will 6. And I have an edge of 1, so that's 4 points to if I want to reduce it by 2.
Yeah.
So I will.
5, 4. You're at a 4 difficulty right now.
I'm doing the math, so I'm at 8 speed right now.
Okay.
4 difficulty.
Yep. Speed defense, you're trained in it, so 3 difficulty.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's well, I said trained before, so it's, and then it went. Oh yeah, you're right, because of the extra.
So you got 3, so you need a 9 or better.
I will roll as 12.
Oh, damn it. I mean, yeah, congratulations. It goes to swipe at you and just misses that. And you can tell that it would have done not damage to your physical form, but to your mind, which is not your strong suit. And would have been a truly abysmal and gone right past your armor.
Effort enhancer OP, please nerf.
Yes. Sheth.
All right. It's I see that Dalaris has engaged it in combat.
No, I tell you to keep ripping the shit.
With things. Okay. Is anybody left? Can I? Are there more?
Oh yeah, there's still 5 more of them.
All right. Great. Then I'll go after another one.
Okay. Again, difficulty 4. They're trying to get away from you. They're kind of writhing from this, but they're pushing back. They don't want to have a dagger come by them.
Do I get the sense that I have to, sort of cut this off of them, or could I just immolate them?
You could certainly try and immolate them.
What's a little immolation among friends?
How about no? Because these are still people. They've been duped.
Oh man. Okay.
Maria calls for mercy.
They're just people, man. Okay.
They're not bandits like the other ones who took babies randomly off other people.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right.
Difficulty 4.
Let's see.
Spend 3 points of might to take it to a 3.
Oh boy.
Plus you got your magic practice, takes it to a 2, we said.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so that's it's 3 points. How many points was it on the
might? It'll be 3 points to lower it by 1.
Wow, that's getting close.
Yes, it is.
I'm getting tired, man.
I know. So difficulty 2, you just need a 6 or better.
All right. Oh, 4.
That is not a
At this
6 or
point,
better.
I should point out that you can spend XP to reroll.
Oh, that's right. And so I
Yes.
shall. Because my teammates had given me an experience point. Thank you. Okay. This one might be another 20.
17. So nice. So yeah, you get a hold of that and you rip that off of it, and it cries out again and kind of staggers back. It's pretty badly wounded. Dalaris.
So I'm gonna do the same.
Nope, Dalaris.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dalaris is going
Sorry.
to do the
Finish
same
him.
thing as I did last turn,
Yeah.
which is
Difficulty
reduce it by
7.
4, -4, -1, and then 3 more points to reduce it by another. Yeah, so there's no roll.
Yeah. So it's had these patches, sort of some of its substance. Right now, between Varus and Sheth, kind of cutting it out, it's wounded it, badly. It's kind of trying to hold its form together. You slashed it that last time, and you cock back and you bring it through, and it will just tear, and like all of its substance will just kind of implode, like as all of it kind of draws in, and there's kind of a pop. And
Awesome.
the 4 people who are left there who had the marks on them, they will pass out as they get some of the feedback from it. But there's this cry out, and you have destroyed a Reaver.
Yes.
And it has been defeated.
Reaver or Raver? I don't.
Raver. It's supposed to be. It's a Raver. Why don't they just call it a Reaver? I don't know.
Because raves, yo.
Yeah.
Rave party.
So. You guys, this is the first step on your journey. You've destroyed this dead god thing. Sheth, where do you think Sheth's next step is from here in his divine journey?
Let's see. What would his next step be? I mean, he wants to continue to study the ways of fire and change, and sort of increase his knowledge and increase his control over his own powers.
Would you learn to maybe learn to fight a little bit better too?
Maybe I would.
Varus, what is the next step for Varus in his divine path?
Varus learns to keep his mouth shut and not run out in front of everyone. So, yeah.
Fair enough. And Dalaris, what is Dalaris's next step?
The next step is I'm not entirely sure. I probably take the cultists back to their homes and pretty much explain what happened.
Yeah, you're more like the god of mercy than the god of war, man. That was awesome.
Until the point that I murdered bandits. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if you do that, then certainly they will get mercy from the local officials who might otherwise, have just strung them up.
Right.
So you can certainly do that. And I think that's where we need to stop for the evening, since we're at the 10:30 mark.
Oh yeah.
For the session. Do you guys have a couple of minutes to do the roses and thorns?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do that. I'd like to do thorns. Let's go in that same order, if you don't mind. Brian, let's start with thorns for you.
The only thorn for me is a personal. I kept tripping over the expenditure of my pool. I never really felt like I had a handle on it, and a lot of that, honestly, is just because I am very bad at math. Like, even basic math is difficult for me. So I think for normal human beings, it's probably not a problem.
But it does that thing where the first points are 3 minus your edge, and then the second one is less that I find that rule just
it's tough for me.
It loses me every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a fair cop. Varus, what about you? Sorry, Steven.
To be honest, so I feel this way often. So in this game, this is a more trad game, and I felt like I wanted more role play. I wanted more story to the game that the system doesn't really bring in. It felt like it's a little bit more work whenever I try to bring in, whenever we wanted to do that role play kind of stuff. It's not built into the system.
Yeah, and I changed the quick start scenario because the quick start scenario was just like all combat.
All bet, yeah.
So I did something different because I wanted to have a chance to interact with people a little bit, but even still, it wasn't really rich on that point. So I think that's a fair point. Maria, what about you, Thorn?
I think it's more of the Rose Thornish, both, but it's the fact that the whole scenario we were just meandering. Like, it's fine because in the end we got to kill the Raver thing, and everything was pretty much tied up except the wife part. Like, that was a side quest that didn't really need to but it was a nice touch. But still, it's like,
okay. No, I think that's a fair assessment. And again, the quick start scenario is much more linear, so I could have gone much more point A, point B, point C.
But I think it worked fine.
Okay.
Like, I was wondering, like, if this was from the quick start scenario and it was meandering, then I would be like, why is the quick start meander so much? But
no, the part up until at the end of last session was from the quick start, and then I threw most of it out after that. So
yes, good.
So
good.
I think my thorn is that I'm still getting used to the system. And one of the things that the system does is a lot of abilities say you can do X. They're enablers to do things. And a lot of the skills say, like, okay, this is this. It's a very broad skill, but it's only used with this pool. I'm not sure. I think I'm probably running the skills and what they can be applied to looser than I think the system actually wants. I don't mind that. But if I were to run this on a regular basis, I would have to get used to sort of what the limits are for skill application. At what point does deception not work? And when you're doing a different pool, how does that apply? Because there's so many things in the game that allow you, okay, you can use this for a different thing, but you got to buy that ability. It's a real classic trad approach to ability definitions, and I'm still not sure where the line is on that. So I've got to get used to that. I've got to figure out how that works. But let's do roses.
All right.
Brian, do you have any roses?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought Steve and Maria did a great job with their characters. I mean, you guys really embodied what you were supposed to be for these demigods, which was very helpful to me. With your help, with everybody's help on the handling the actual pool for the roles, that made it a lot easier for me, and I was able to concentrate on what do I have available to help me solve this problem, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really good. Stephen?
So my rose is the biggest roses. So I had a lot of fun. It was really good. I really liked the chance to be able to getting to play this. So I'd seen the Gods of the Fall setting and all of that, but I wasn't sure exactly what that was. So I really appreciate all the background and all the footwork that you did to, explain what the setting was like.
Yeah.
And it was very evocative and kind of made a lot of sense. And I really liked just getting a chance to play in that.
Yeah, I really kind of like the premise, and it's got a little more sharper focus than Godbound's setting does. In some ways, it has a real built-in purpose that I think is an interesting thing, and there's a lot more to it. So, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to comment on your Thorn. You said that you might have been too loose on the skills. Is Gods of the Fall a lot like the other Cypher Systems games that I've read and run? The skills, there's not a list.
Right.
Like, you just make up something, and they give you here's some things that might make sense, but you can literally come up with anything, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you're being too loose at all in that case.
All right. That's fair.
If you make anything up, then yeah, it makes sense.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Maria, any roses?
Well, I like this kind of game, so
yeah.
I want to roses. I want to thank the other two players for not playing a warrior, not because they didn't take my archetype. It's because it's more to do than a warrior. I feel like it's more brain power to, like, not necessarily brain power, but like more thinking about what you're doing than a warrior, which is just, I am going to stab this until it dies. So roses to you too.
Well, and gave you a nice amount of room to really go, I'm absolutely number one, the warrior here. And that's kind of fun.
Yeah. That too.
And the system really supported that. I mean, she was a kick-ass warrior. You were a wrecking machine.
Divine shift. Wherever you put your divine shifts, you're going to kick ass in this game.
That's true.
That's another slight thorn, is that I'm not sure how see-through deception is really useful when the other two divine shifts were more useful, but that's also a fault of the system being more combat oriented and not saying it is.
So it's interesting. That's definitely a thorn for most of the Cypher System games that I've seen, is that they say, whenever you read through them, they say, oh, well, this is a story game. This is about role play. If it's cool, do it. And then there's like, a huge section of the rules are associated with combat. And the adventures that they come out, like the fast play adventures, are all combat delve kinds of things.
Yeah. The see-through deception, I was trying to work that in, like letting Varus, have more information right away. But yeah, it is definitely that's a particular ability that doesn't have nearly the applicability of the other shifts. So my rose was, I wasn't sure how the pool system would work. And I was like, oh, people aren't going to spend, and nobody's going to take too much effect, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at everybody's current pool. And
it was close.
Yeah. Varus, you're down to 1 in your speed pool, 2 in your intellect. Maria, you're at half your might pool. Sheth, you're almost out of your, so that felt good. Like it's nice to see resource spends and because Maria, if you had missed that thing, but you would have had
I had to roll a 0 or above.
Yeah. So it was cool. I like that. There's a lot of bits here that I kind of dig, and I can see how the high level play works from it.
Yeah. Oh, and the XP thing totally came through at the end there.
Yeah. That would be another thorn for me, actually, though, is I didn't do GM intrusions this session. I meant to do that.
Oh, that's true.
It kind of fell out of my head because I just want to kind of move things along. So,
there are a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like felt compels. I can't do GM intrusions either.
Yes. Yeah, and here's the thing: is last time I really liked doing them, and I thought they worked, but I get running and I forget about them. I do think that in this game they're a better tool than, say, GM compels in Fate, because I make the fate compels people. I let them do self compels rather than me pushing them. But I got rolling, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
like to
really
win.
like the fact that when you do a GM intrusion, you get one and someone else gets an XP. And to me, there's a lot of teamwork that goes along in that. It makes it feel like a more cohesive party.
Yeah, true.
I do dig that. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate your giving this a try with me. And it was fun to see it since I run Godbound as well, like Maria does. So I like seeing the big widescreen stuff. I'm going to stop the broadcast.